Are we?
What?
PT looks weird.
What?
All I heard was just a loud scream. And that's basically the start of okay. That's how we're going into things. We're just
That's the new
yelling
intro.
obscenities.
Some people have like, welcome to the show, blah blah blah. This guy's just,
Yeah, you just scream. Yeah,
is he okay?
we should probably try to find one of those type of intros. You know, like a random noise, like boo whip, all kinds of shit like that. Like you do that noise all the time. PewDiePie does like his little fist bump.
God, I hate this podcast. I hate this intro. Every time.
Oh man. So today, we're gonna go down the rabbit hole of scary games because when this goes up, it will clearly not be Halloween, but today is Halloween.
Indeed.
I personally, I clearly don't give two shits about Halloween. To me, it's an obstacle to get to Christmas. That's all it is. That's all it ever will be.
I used to love Halloween because
was
I
fun.
grew up in the age where you didn't have cell phones, so you actually watched kids in the street and watch trick or treaters and costumes and so on and so forth. It was nice.
I came out wrong.
It was
All
nice.
right.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was slightly pedo at the beginning, but then it switched into something
You
good.
see, but yeah, I come from a different age where everyone's not immediately labeled a pedo the second they say child, right? So they're like, oh, I saw that kid. Oh, you not bad. No, like I just said there was a kid. I just dropped my son at school. You know what?
I forgot who it was, but it was a stand-up comedian who said he thinks it's fucked up when somebody who doesn't have kids can look at a kid and determine what their age is. And I agree, that is a fucked up ability if you don't have kids.
It is.
Yeah.
It's an ability out there, sure. So what can you do? Count kids' age? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Turns out he hates kids.
Sometimes you like I'll be talking to one of my mates at work and he doesn't have kids and stuff, and he'll say things like oh yeah, that kid's probably like 4 or 5 years old. I'm like, how the fuck do you know? You don't have
Ugh.
kids. But anyways,
I
Yeah.
prefer not to. Yes, it's fine.
so yeah, horror games. Something that I also only recently got into because of PT. Thank you. And discovered that I am a huge chicken shit, and even action-packed or horror games creep me out. It's kind of ridiculous. So I would like to know from you guys, straight up, always the same question, your favorite horror game. So we'll start with PT.
Probably my favorite from was probably Fear.
Oh,
The
I
first one.
had a lot of fun with Fear, but I think that led into Dead Space right afterwards.
Okay.
huh.
But Fear was probably the one that got me into like those horror genre kind of games.
It was the one with the slow motion, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I remember that game where you had to kill the girl from the ring.
Basically.
Um,
Yeah, her name was Alma.
Right, right.
it
Oh,
sounds
yeah, it spun into 3 different games, right? You wound up to 3.
Yeah, pretty
did.
much. The first one was really good. The others were kind of they were trying too hard, I think, with the other ones.
Yeah, it's best to stop at 2, right? Dead Space.
Basically. But there was another game after two.
I don't know. I think it was on what, the Nintendo Switch or something.
Oh yeah, probably. That's pretty much what it felt like.
I don't remember any other games with
no,
some love
no,
story
he
in
was
it.
just a character in Smash Bros.
There you go.
It sounds like PT. Would it be fair to say that you have a preference for action-oriented horror games?
I definitely like the action aspect of it, but I do like some of the more slower paced ones. Like I didn't get a chance to play what was it, PT that much. It would have been cool to have played through it, but
You mean play through the demo?
yeah. Well, I mean, like actually, no, not play through the demo. I played through the demo, but I mean actually play the game. Like had the game been completed.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
Did I hear that there was supposed to be a new Silent Hill coming out?
you did.
That was a rumor. I heard about that. Yeah.
Yeah,
I heard about it recently, but I haven't seen too much about it.
I read something that was highlighting that a lot of horror gamers, I want to say, are quite happy because a lot of new announcements came out for horror games recently, and that really excited people. Like for instance, you have Callisto Protocol that's coming out that people are obviously pumped for.
Yes,
Dead
Yeah.
Space 1 remake, or should I say
Mhm.
no? It's not a remaster; it's a remake.
remake. Yeah,
And then
yeah.
the
He
new-
talks
then-
now.
and then the new Silent Hill. So people of the horror genre are very happy right now and very excited. So, all right, hybrid.
Yes, yes.
What about you, sir?
um, okay, I haven't played too many horror games to be fair, outside of like some of the Resident Evil games. The first one I did play though happened to be Silent Hill, I think 3 The Room, or at least Silent Hill The Room. I'm not sure if it was the third one or not, but
No, that was
yeah.
the fourth one.
Oh, the fourth
Yeah,
one. Okay,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
But The Room, yes. So I played The Room, and that I liked the vibe of it. I liked the fact that it goes into a different dimension. You had to go through whatever, like what was it, like a little pipe or something, or just an opening in your bathroom or something.
Yeah, I
Red Hat,
think
like
so.
you went to the other world, and then like as the game progressed, your apartment starts to get more and more fucked up looking. Like it's, I think at
Oh,
some point there's like melted babies around or something, and you start hearing them cry, and it's like it starts getting really disturbing because it's like that apartment's getting absorbed by the world that you keep traveling to.
yeah. I think I saw a
Well,
Let's Play
it
of
was
that,
cool.
and it looks
I didn't
pretty
get to
fucked
play the
up.
one with Pyramid Head though, but if when I know they're coming out with like what another remake or remastered version of Silent Hill 2, I believe.
Yeah, that they're in the works of. As long as
Yeah,
it's not
I heard that
the
was
other
a good one.
remake.
I heard that was a good one, so I wanted to try that out. And yeah, speaking of Dead Space, I absolutely love the Dead Space series.
Mm,
I liked the creation, like the character creations in Dead Space 3, because I thought they were kind of cool to see how it would look if one of the necromorphs just got forgot somewhere and looked older. Because
Mm.
like the necromorphs on that planet were like technically older than the ones you see with Isaac Clarke and everything at in 1 and 2, right?
yeah,
So these are like bodies that have been waiting, that have been sitting there dormant under snow or just covered in crap. And like some of the other necromorphs is like, what would happen if a person started eating necromorphs because their food supply was running out on a planet they don't actually inhabit? So there was like a lot of cool concepts into the game. Is just that love story, man. Why is that in a Dead Space game? It's
Well,
like,
wait.
damn,
Hang on a
these
second.
brother moons are coming, but I really have to text her. I really want her back. Like, why is this in the game so hard?
You mean in the
Like, I can
first one?
understand some of it, but it was cool in the first one because the
Okay.
atmosphere was fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, the atmosphere was fantastic. Everything was dark. You had to depend on like sound cues and sound effects to really like gain that ambiance. Like your imagination would make the game more than the game in front of you. You know what I mean? Just by the
it
sound effects alone.
it built the tension very, very well.
It was great tension. And
Yeah,
like, you ever hear that whole it's not a saying, but like the fact that your imagination is way scarier than the things you observe, or like, sorry, I spoke wrong. Let's say if you have a monster, right, and you know exactly how this monster looks like, you will not be scared of this monster more if you just, or you would be scared of this monster more if you don't know what it fully looks like. You only
Agreed.
like, you see like shadows or sound cues or this. Your imagination makes everything worse.
Even
And
if you were
that's what
to
I thought
see
Dead
it,
Space 1 did.
even
it
if
was
you were
sort
to
of
see
like
it
the
and it's
first
not fully
Alien movie.
exposed.
Yeah, because like in the first game, necromorphs popped up from anywhere, like out of the vents, out of crap, out of dead bodies. You never knew where it was coming from, and you
Yeah,
always had to hear the sound cue, and the sound cues fucked with you. Like everything in the game fucked with you just to scare you, and they're like the devs made it,
Oh
and
yeah,
it was so good. And Dead Space 2 is basically that, but action.
yeah.
yeah.
So yeah,
And Dead Space 3 is what is Dead Space 3? So,
Dead
um,
Space 3. They
It's
did have cool multiplayer though, like the fact that everybody's hallucinations were different. Like you play as Isaac and you play with that other guy, and like the other guy would be seeing his dead family and they're talking to each other, but Isaac would just be looking at the guy staring at a doll.
yeah. It was
I
they
thought
had
that
some
was very
they
cool.
had some neat ideas.
Yeah,
yeah,
It was
but
just
it
sad that it didn't. The story wise, it just kind of fell
the
apart.
it
story was yeah,
wasn't it wasn't just
yeah.
story wise. It just they went a little bit too much Hollywoodish, you know, like action set piece.
Yeah, especially with the end with the brother moons, like you found out what the necromorphs actually had a plan to just absorb as much biomass as possible throughout the cosmos and everything. The
Mhm.
brother moons are like what happens if the necromorphs take over that planet. The whole what was it called? Uh Not like they kept gathering saying make us whole convergence.
Where the
Like
marker
the whole
was, or yeah.
Yeah,
yeah, where the marker is. And the convergence happens. That's what happens when the entire planet goes extinct, and that's all that's left.
Hmm. Well,
It
that
was cool.
was
It's a cool concept, but
yeah.
yeah, like Wazim's, like he's like you said, it went pretty Hollywoody, and then they ended it on that note, and I thought that was kind of a dumb move too. But like there was like behind the scenes crap stuff,
Oh
right?
no, but dude, they're making a comeback. I think the Dead Space One remake is to reignite that type of gameplay and Callisto Protocol, developed by the
Callisto
people who made Dead
Protocol
Space.
looks so cool.
Oh man, I think they're gonna knock it out of the park, man. They're going
I
Yeah,
to.
hope so.
Callisto Protocol looks very cool, and I've been seeing like I didn't. Oh, I've been seeing titles of videos saying that like it's supposed to be really good. I'm gonna check it out later, but yeah, it looks like it's starting
Yeah.
really. Yeah, like it
So
was starts off one on like on a space prison or something.
that, for what I could see, when I saw the trailer at, I think it was E3. I saw it at.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was somebody who's in a jail cell, and you see what some type of creature consumes somebody in front of him, and he has that life bar on the back of his neck, which mimics Dead Space a lot. So, but that as far as video goes, that's all that I saw, and it was enough to get me hooked. It was enough to be like, yes, yes, we want this. Um, so it sounds to me like you guys are like me. You play a lot of action oriented horror games.
Definitely.
Have you guys ever dived into any like? Because when I think of horror games, like when you think of like an RPG, you can think of different styles of
Yeah.
RPGs. There's different kinds. You want like turn-based RPGs. There's action-oriented RPGs. There's like hybrid RPGs like God of War and stuff like that. Um, when I think of horror games, like for instance, action-oriented ones are going to be like the Call of Duty of horror games. They're the popular ones. They're the ones that sell a lot. They're the ones that people play the most. They're the ones that are, you know, that just fulfill the basic needs. Once in a while, you'll get that gem like Dead Space, which is just the perfect mix of tension and horror. But other than that, I feel like if you were to play, what were we talking about? Like, you had mentioned one earlier. Sorry, PT.
Well, PT itself, or what's it?
Well,
I mean,
you
there was that. There was Silent Hill, but I guess
yes,
you could
yeah, that's
also.
it. Like Silent Hills and
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. So because when I think of, so cause I tried playing legit like I don't want to say legit horror games, but like different styles of horror games just to get a feel for it. Like for instance, I
Mhm.
tried multiplayer horror games like Phasmophobia, and it was pretty good. I liked it.
That was one I wanted to try. That seemed like it was a lot of fun.
What was that about?
Phasmophobia is it's a multiplayer only game. You're a group of people that go into a house with ghost hunting tools, and you're trying to find or hunt a ghost that's in a house. But it's not an action game at all. You can't fight or anything. You can just use tools to find the ghost and discover him. And as you're going about the house, trying to find him, you guys have walkie talkies that you can talk to each other. VoIP is crucial. It's super important in this game because if at one point you're going to be in the house exploring this thing and someone has to switch on the power in the basement while somebody else is upstairs trying to interact with the ghost in a room at the same time, and like you'll just switch on the power and through VoIP you'll hear like the faintest it's just
Majestic.
it's hilarious. When I played it, it was quite early build, so it wasn't, to me it wasn't too creepy, but from what I can understand now, it's freaking scary, you know.
Hmm.
So I
Mm.
tried like the multiplayer horror games. I played Friday the 13th, the game, which is honestly a lot of fun also.
That looked kind of cool.
I
Yeah.
didn't play Dead by Daylight. I heard it's great.
I like the lore behind that stuff. Dead by Daylight, like every serial killer. Like, have you
Yeah.
actually read the lore behind them?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah, it's really interesting. It's cool.
It's nice how they had that take on it, and for me, I would say the creepiest type of games
Sorry.
out there. What's up?
Go ahead. I remembered another game I was gonna mention, but
Oh,
please keep going.
go for it, man.
Okay, PlayStation 2. Does the suffering count?
I would almost,
Ooh.
to some extent, maybe. I mean, it was kind of creepy-ish. I didn't really feel like it was very horror-ish, but it was definitely disturbing in its
Okay,
own right.
I'm
because
gonna
it
be
was definitely
honest.
yeah.
I'm not sure what you're talking about. I've heard that name before, but I have no idea what the game is.
Okay, you basically start as an inmate in prison, like life parole. No, not life parole. I'm getting this all wrong. But anyways, you're in prison, and apparently, like the story behind that is that you killed your wife, you killed your two sons. You're going to jail. for a long time. And on this prison, like some paranormal stuff starts happening, like manifestations of bad things that happen on the island start to incarnate into creatures. Um, there was this one character who's entirely made of gas, and the whole thing behind him was like he was one of the executioners on the prison who would execute people via gas. And turns out like he
Oh,
went
okay.
kind of crazy about it and gassed himself because he wanted to know how that felt like.
Jesus.
So, and you had other stuff like that, like back I'm really bad with history stuff, but apparently like it was during the time where you had firing squads. So
Okay.
one of the creatures would be
Hmm.
a manifestation of a firing squad, like this big dude with a bunch of old rifles attached to him. And
Oh.
it keeps going with like a little bit of psychosis. Like there's a little bit of jump scare factors every from time to time when your crazy meter starts going. And like
Hmm.
apparently when your crazy meter gets to max, you manifest yourself into this big monster that just tears through everybody. And then it starts playing off like this horror aspect into a psychosis aspect of like how the mind shatters and stuff like that.
Wait.
What sorry, go ahead.
I remember there was a PS2 game where you had like a
Oh,
sanity
Mike.
meter. Is that what this is?
It could be.
Hmm.
I haven't
Possibly.
played it in a long time, but yeah, there was a meter, and every time you killed people, the meter would grow. When the meter
Yeah.
gets to a certain point, you transform, it disappears. You have to redo it. But
Okay.
apparently, it was supposed to be like the manifestation of this dude's anger, because apparently, every time he would go into a temper tantrum, he'd black out.
Okay. Maybe I'm not thinking of the same game because I can't think of the title right now, but I'll throw it up on the screen so people can see it. But I remember I think it was a PS2 era game, and you had a sanity meter, and as you progress through the game, the more things that you killed or the
Is that Fatal
creature.
Frame?
No,
No.
I think I know what game you're talking about. It was on the GameCube. It was one of these one-off kind of games.
Well, it was no, was it on GameCube? Because I remember the game used to fuck with you, the player, in the sense like how the more insane you became, the more the game started fucking with you. Like for instance, it would say like it would just pop up and say, "Oh, your data is fucking corrupted. You can't play the game anymore."
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Or
That
it,
I don't remember what it's called, but yeah, it was on the GameCube.
Huh.
and I remember at
But
one
yeah,
point
I remember-
it used to switch
seems
inputs. Like I
familiar.
would go to video two. I'd just be like, "What? I can't go back." But no, it's just the game fucking with you. You know. Back in the
I think
days when you had to go on input to play your games, it's like,
oh my god, yeah.
like Metal Gear and the Psycho Mantis.
yeah, yeah,
Oh, is it?
exactly.
Was it
Yeah,
Eternal Darkness? Maybe.
I think it
maybe.
is. I think it is Eternal
Yeah.
Darkness. Yeah, and
Oh man, they had some interesting games then.
yeah, they really do. Like honestly, horror games like maybe they didn't push anything in terms of mechanics, but in terms of like creativity, holy
Ooh.
shit, man!
So I have a question for you
Yeah.
guys. What would you consider horror?
Psychological torture. Fuck,
Yeah.
Like,
fuck with
I would
me.
definitely have to go with psychological.
okay, so not so much the paranormal, more the psychological aspect.
Well, I
Yeah, well,
like. What? Wait, do you mean like in the sense how what scares
Okay,
me the most?
okay, because like back in the day, Resident Evil used to be considered a horror game,
Right.
and it was just zombies. Like the definition of what horror is definitely evolved since like the 80s. But because
Hmm.
back in the day, Friday the 13th was called a horror movie, and then it became a slasher movie.
Hmm.
yeah.
Stuff like that. And then like you have type of horror movies that have to do with ghosts. You have a type of horror movies that had to do with psychosis. You have to
Yeah.
just like there's different types of horror. It's just what do you think? I don't know, stuff like that. Like what do you think what makes a horror game as opposed to just a game that just messes with your head a bit?
Well, to me,
So sort of like
yeah. So you want to go to first PT? Go ahead.
no, I was gonna say sort of like Amnesia, Dark Descent. How that one was just kind of messing with your mind. There was something that was constantly tailing you around. You had no clue what it was, and you're
Yeah,
slowly descending down this whole building all the way down to the bottom. Like that that kind of psychological horror. You mean?
that would count.
Yeah, yeah,
Because
And
there's like a little bit of a paranormal aspect to it. Because I think it had to do with like the concept of hell. I think was in it.
yeah. I think so. I believe so. I never played through it. I wanted to play through it when it came out and never got around to doing it. But it
hmm,
seemed like it was a really good game.
Mm.
for me, it's definitely psychological. It's. I'll echo what you said earlier, which is like, it really freaks me out when the game pushes my mind to a place where I don't want it to be. There's nothing necessarily scary happening in front of the screen. And I can't name too many games that do it, but the one that did do it for me, I think I spoke about it last time, was Layers of Fear.
Is
I
that
play.
the one with the pictures?
Yeah, it is the one with the pictures and
It's so vague.
the paintings.
Paintings, right?
But I remember
Fake is the middle frame, right?
I could be remembering this incorrectly, but I'm pretty sure that that's the game where they developed the technology where the game adapts to your playstyle.
That's
So
cool.
if the game notices that you avoid going down dark hallways, we're gonna give you more dark hallways.
Oh, that's awesome.
You know,
Uh,
if the game notices that you avoid going down areas where there's loud noises, it's gonna start making loud noises. You know,
Hmm.
and I remember like Layers of Fear fucked with me in that way, and to the point where I didn't want to finish it, and I uninstalled it and removed it from my Steam library so I can't see it. So, so um,
that that
That,
sounds like a lot of fun, to be honest.
that's the kind of horror game. That's the
that
kind of
does sound
horror
cool.
that pushes me a little too far. Like horror games,
Psychological
like
horror.
Resident
Okay.
Evil and stuff, doesn't scare me too much. But those psychological horror games, and to an extent, I have to say, jump scare games do freak me out.
Oh,
Mm.
like Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yeah, a little bit, but like more like those what do you call them? The Telltale games, like Until
Mm.
Dawn, or
Oh,
those types
okay.
of games, like where you make choices and the choices have like permanent consequences in them. There's quite a
Hmm.
few jump scares in those games, but they're not like Five Nights at Freddy's. They're a lot more creepier than that. So
What's that in the doorway? Oh, it's just a glowing eye. Oh, it's coming at me. Ah,
exactly.
Markiplier.
But yeah, like the I would say those are the two that creep me out the most. You know what's funny?
Mm.
I got the new Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2.
Mm.
And I was playing
How
through the
is that?
campaign last night, and obviously they knew that when they released the game, they're releasing it near Halloween. And in the campaign, there's this mission where you're stranded, you're by yourself, you're in a town, and it's very dark, and you're walking through this store of mannequins, and all you
Oh,
have is like a lamp to light the way. And I was like, "Fuck this, man! I'm not in the mood. I didn't sign up for this. I
oh,
signed up for Call of Duty right now."
if you thought that was creepy, that I've been seeing all these clips of this new DLC for Resident Evil 8,
Mhm.
and you walk around in certain rooms, and there are these mannequins that are just kind of standing around, and they have glowing eyes. And if you're looking at them, they don't move. The second you look away, they start running towards you until
Oh,
you
is
look
that what
back
that
at them.
is?
Yeah, it's a new DLC for Resident Evil. It was freaky as hell when I saw that.
Oh,
Like
yeah, I've
you'll walk
seen
into
that.
different rooms, and then all of a sudden like if you
They
look down
run
the
in,
hallway,
stop.
they'll run in, and then they'll be like, "Oh, you're looking at me. I'm gonna stop now." And they'll just stop there, and you just keep walking around, and all you hear is footsteps of them running right behind you until you turn around and look at them again. It's
Jesus.
messed up.
Yeah, that was cool.
So it's like the adult version of Boo.
Yeah, basically.
But that does sound creepy as shit, man. And uh, but what about you, Josh? Like to echo, like to your own question to yourself.
Oh, all of the above, baby. All of the above. I don't discriminate on this one. I like all of them for different reasons. Like I like Dead Space 1 because I thought I had a mix of the two. And I like
Yeah.
Resident Evil because I like zombies. And I can't play Jump Scare once because I played it once and I almost punched my monitor and it's cool.
What's
I'm cool.
considered? What's? Oh, actually, no. I think I just answered my question. But I was gonna say, what's considered survivor horror? Because I've heard of survivor horror before, but I'm guessing that's like Until Dawn and that kind of stuff.
I think so.
That Dead Space and Resident Evil would feel was
So
more
like
like
more of a
survival
story
horror.
aspect to it.
Yeah. And
Or storytelling, I should say.
Outlast. I think Outlast would count as a survivor horror.
Outlast is
Yeah.
kind of cool, yeah. Outlast had that's the one with the criminals, right?
Yeah,
And
or
like
it's an
crazy
insane
Yeah.
criminals
asylum,
or
right?
something like that.
And all you have
Yeah.
is like that glow in the dark video camera.
Yeah.
Yeah, I read. Yeah, I just read the backstory. I didn't actually play the game because it was kind of cool.
I'm not gonna lie. A lot of the horror games that I've observed and know a lot about is because I watched someone play through it. I didn't play it myself. There's something.
It kind of helps.
There's something about watching people play horror games that's just interesting, man. To watch them go through that, it's fucking hilarious.
Oh,
And
you
They do
sit
it,
there.
so you don't have to.
exactly. But I've noticed that horror games are taking a turn. Like I think, unlike other games, like horror games, when you go towards indie games, that's when you get the beautiful horror games. Like Dude, there's a
lot of-
shit ton of horror games out there that people that are not mainstream that are really fucking scary, man.
It takes a lot
Uh,
of creativity, that's for
yeah.
sure. Because like to scare somebody in nowadays,
Hmm.
yeah, it would take a lot of creativity to just mess with people with constant ADHD and all that.
Hmm.
So
And there's that new one that people are going crazy over. I don't know if it's from a mainstream company or not. I don't think it is because I'm not hearing anyone like when you hear a great game comes out, like who made it? Oh, Bethesda or whoever the case may be, you know.
Mm.
But there's one called Mortuary's Assistant.
Oh yeah, I was gonna mention that
Chris,
one. Yeah, that one seems like a lot of fun.
Dude, that looks creepy as shit, man. I'm not interested in that at all. You'd lock me in a room with a dead body and there's four doors. It's Five Nights at Freddy's, but with a dead body in front of you, man. It's creepy as shit.
Do you have you seen anything about it, Hybrid?
I have, yeah, yeah.
Oh, dude, it just looks so much fun. I just keep seeing like one guy. He's going around to do stuff to a body. He looks back. He goes back towards his desk, and there's some dude that's just perched up on top of a shelf, just sitting there staring at you, super creepy. Like, and you
You
don't
know,
realize until like
right?
afterwards. What?
It's like I could see you up there, right?
Ah,
Yeah,
Man.
no, I saw some clips for that. It seemed funky.
yeah.
But yeah, but
Mm.
like I've seen because I watch people like there's a couple of YouTubers like Daz plays. Actually, he's the only one that comes to mind right now. But like especially my wife. My wife watches a lot of horror games. Like people play through it.
Mm.
And they're always playing through these indie games that look super creepy as shit, man. Like I'm not down at all for any of it. And I just find it interesting that it's going down that path because horror games started to become like really not scary. Like you have the Resident Evil remakes that came out, and they were
Mm.
Oh, it's
beautiful, they
all
were
action now.
fun, but they weren't scary at all. And then you had Resident Evil 7 that came out, and you had which was Biohazard, I think.
Yeah.
Um, to me, it wasn't particularly scary. It was
I
creepy,
agree.
but it wasn't scary.
I agree.
And then you have the one with Lady Dominatrix. I forgot which one that was. Sorry,
Nice.
The village.
Village. That's the one.
Yeah.
Um, and like I'm trying to think of horror games that came out recently, and can't. One doesn't really come to mind, unless it's indie. Like you have the one where that blue clown is chasing you in a toy factory and he's following you in the vents and shit.
Oh
Oh
yeah.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
Sleeping Playhouse.
yeah, like that's creepy. Indie developer, and I think the mainstream developers have I should say AAA developers, they've kind of steered away from it. And again, we always say, well, I always say this: they took like a jack of all trades approach, like they're a little bit of
Absolutely.
something for everybody. They're not focusing on on a particular niche of horror, to get someone's attention. You know what I mean?
I agree.
And I don't know, and horror games, man, it's weird. Like I feel like it's not talked about at all, in the sense
Mm.
that how it in terms of media and publicity, to me, it's not popular at all. Horror games, I would say it's less popular than fighting games, but it has a bigger following. More people are into it, in my opinion, from what I've
Mm.
seen, and in terms of like what the quick research that I did in terms of like earnings for certain franchises, and not as a whole, but like independent titles, like they make a shitload of money, man.
I feel like there's a different kind of entertainment value to like horror games, or at least watching people play through them, like you were saying before.
Hmm.
It's hilarious to see someone's reaction or how much someone's gonna shit bricks while they're playing stuff. Like watching a fighting game, it's entertaining for watching someone beat the crap out of somebody else and seeing that whole side of things. But I feel like that's what's kind of drawing in a lot more of the crowd nowadays. It's just like I see so many streamers or so many people who are starting to play through them. Like you mentioned before, Daz. I've seen him play through a lot of stuff, and it's just fun or funny to watch him react to something that happens in a room, and he'll just shit a brick and try and decide what he's gonna do and what he says when that whole panic inducing section comes up.
Yeah, Daz's scream is hilarious. It's the best thing I've ever
Yeah.
heard.
Yeah.
um, yeah. So I don't know, man. And if I had to say that I had a favorite horror game, it would have to be. I never played it. I watch people play it. I think it would be. I think it's Silent Hill 2. Silent Hill 2, and I really like PT said, this is not a pun. I really wish we got a full version of PT. You know?
Oh, absolutely.
Actually,
Absolutely.
it's funny that you mentioned that because I was looking at some stuff beforehand. Apparently, some of the guys who were involved with developing or making PT went off and took a lot of the ideas from it and came up with this game called Visage. I think that's what it was called. Anyway, they took a lot of the same elements from PT and the whole
Oh,
room, and I'm pretty sure you might have seen that.
yeah, I did
Like
see.
some
I did
clips
see
of seeing it here and
Visage.
there, and yeah, it looks pretty. It looks very similar to what PT was, and even that whole creepy-ish kind of vibe, especially the way the ghost was disappearing and reappearing in the game.
Well,
Uh,
um, well, first thing, Visage was for me. The reason why I know it is because of that controversy that happened when the game came out about that
mm,
one scene, right? Did you know? Do you
yeah.
know about a hybrid?
I have no idea.
So yeah, it's a first-person horror game. You run around and you do your horror thing, but there's a scene in the game where apparently you murder this woman, um, and you take a knife and you cut her face off, and like
Oh,
you're doing it, you know. So you're seeing everything, and then you take the skin off her face and you put it on, you wear it, and you become her.
Wait, are you
huh.
talking about in PT?
No, Visage.
Oh, Visage. Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay.
So
So,
yeah, so that's why I know about that game. Number one, and number two, PT to me is a perfect example of the psychological horror with the paranormal horror, with the jump scare horror. It did everything. It didn't pull its punches at all in any aspects. I remembered like to me the moment that sticks out from that demo because I did play it back in PS. I think it was PS3 days or PS4. No, it was PS3
four,
days.
four.
No, it's four.
PT? Four.
Yeah, it was 4. Okay,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
it was, okay, my bad. It was early PS4 days, and I remember the thing that stuck out to me the most was the fucking radio announcer.
Oh. You also hear him say, turn around.
Yeah,
I said, turn around.
and I was like, nope, not doing it, not turning around. And
Oh, it's great.
it
Where,
like it
did you know
really
that she
fucked with me.
constantly follows you?
Does she
Constantly.
really?
She's constantly behind you, apparently. Yeah. Because somebody, I saw a video on it. Like they took like an external camera
Hmm.
just to see where she would go, and she's always trailing you.
Oh, it's
Damn.
interesting.
It makes it a little creepier, to be fair.
And oh,
Yeah.
there was that scene because the announcer is describing what the guy did to his family in the house, right?
Oh yeah.
And there was one scene where there's a fridge swinging in the middle of the hallway with somebody inside screaming bloody murder and
Oh,
blood dripping from it.
yeah.
And I was like,
Yeah.
holy crap, man, what kind of sick mind do you need to come up with this shit? Um, and the best part about PT to me was the fact that it had so many like puzzles and clues to things about it. Like you can go down a deep rabbit hole of mystery on YouTube just about PT. Like all the numbers that are written on the walls and articles and what they say in the radio announcements, like it weaves this huge story that people extrapolated from that one demo, and it's insane, man. I really wish they got a chance to finish that project. And what was his name? The guy from The Walking Dead who's in it?
Oh,
Norman Reedus.
Norman Reedus. Yeah. Instead we got Walking Simulator.
oh, I love
Oh
Walking
my
Simulator.
god. Yeah.
I didn't
Um,
play it yet. Does that game have any creepy aspects to it or no?
It's weird. I guess you could say it's kind of creepy, but that's like if you're trying to see about like some kind of horror
Hmm.
psychological thing, not really. But
Okay.
it was story wise, it was good. It was just very long and drawn out, and yeah, basically a walking simulator. Like the first half of the game, that's pretty much all you're doing, and
Hmm.
then afterwards, it starts getting a little bit more fun and engaging because you can actually make weapons, and there's more enemies to like deal with and interact with.
Hmm. And
But
the
yeah,
funniest shit to me that ever happened in horror games, and the few that I've played, the we're talking about the same games here, but it's because the list ain't long of what I've played. Um, but it was Dead Space, and sometimes I would fucking find mechanics to cheese the game to avoid scaring myself to make shit easy for me. And yo, Like,
carrying around an explosive barrel with you the entire time.
Start firing the most color-inducing ammo and all that.
oh, the funniest shit to me was when you had the,
Oh, that was
the necromorphs coming after you. All you need to do is just go through the door you just came from, and then just turn around and walk away from you.
Wow.
Immediately. And as soon as you step in, they turn around and start running towards you, and you just walk back out. it's fine. The amount of times I use that to my advantage just to avoid being cornered or creeped out, man. Holy shit.
One at a time, please.
Yeah. But that's something I hope that they develop, the technology that's in Layers of Fear. I think it's amazing that they can actually, how do I say, like, take a player's fears, like try to observe what he's avoiding or what he's trying to not do, and then force him to go in that direction, change the game so he has to do that. I would like it.
Cool.
I would like it to get to a point where they predict what the player's next move is going to be. So that, to me, that's next level horror right there, man.
Never get past the first level.
Next level horror, man, is when the game runs some kind of algorithm that figures out exactly what it is you like and what you don't like, and then it's just like, yeah, we know exactly where you're gonna go and what you're gonna do and what choices you're gonna pick.
Sounds like that Black Mirror episode.
Ooh.
Wait, which one was this?
It's a Black Mirror episode when the guy was in one of those simulation games.
Oh yeah. And now I remember which one. Where he's inside, he goes inside that house, and then the fear and everything keeps ramping up to the point where he kind of snaps and goes crazy, and it turns out that he was just in that room, like he was in the room previously beforehand for like 10 seconds.
Well, I don't remember this episode. What the fuck?
It's in like the 3rd season, I think, or 2nd season.
Not the.
It was the U.S. agents in that.
Okay, is it the soldiers?
Huh?
Is it that episode? Oh.
No, it's like this guy's goes to he meets with some girl, and he's trying to find some cash to kind of get around the city. So she tells him about, like, oh, just go to this place. They'll get you to play like some game or do this one thing, and try it out, and they'll give you a bunch of cash for it. So he goes, he tries it. He goes and he tries it out. They put this chip into the back of his spine, and it's supposed to be this crazy.
Yes.
Yeah. So he goes through that whole experience, and then by the time he gets to the end of the game, he's so freaked out. But you realize afterwards that he left his cell phone on, and the signal that came through from his phone messed with the signal, the chip that was inside his spine, and he went through that whole experience in, like, I don't remember how long it was. It was like 10 seconds. It was a short amount of time, but it ended up being like that whole episode was all about that.
Yeah, I remember that one. When it comes to Black Mirror, the episodes that stand out to me, man, is episode 1 of season 1. Ooh.
What's that one?
The mayor,
the Prime Minister, of London.
Oh,
of Great Britain.
Prime Minister, yeah.
Oh man, that's rough. That is rough. Number 1. The second one that stands out for me is the one with the social credit score one. Oh my god.
Oh, with the like,
everyone has to like each other, and your like rating depends on how people treat you or what you get and stuff like that. And
yeah,
it's creepy.
It's extra creepy now.
Oh man.
Yeah.
So usually I would ask you guys, like, what horror games would you recommend that I give a shot? But no. Okay, no, let's hear it. If you had to recommend a horror game for me to play, what would you recommend?
You want to go first, Hybrid?
I'm trying to think.
Yeah.
Because we covered all the horror movies.
Yeah, none of us play horror games, really, right?
Yeah, no kidding.
Now, what would I want to watch with Zine play? Is how I'm going to go about this.
Especially after I told you what I hate.
Exactly. Clowns.
I'm just. There's like a Krusty the Clown game out there somewhere.
Oh my god!
Move that out of the way.
All the mods too. Yeah, one of those games where you're getting constantly chased by something, and it's just. Oh wait, have you guys seen that? Where you have to, like, make it through a level and you're constantly being chased by something?
Is that
Oh yeah,
like a Gmod thing?
Yeah,
something
I think
like
it was
that. Like I've
Yeah.
seen so many different like mods on like what's probably on TikTok.
Dude, that looks creepy too, man.
It
Yeah.
definitely looks creepy.
Like it's
Granted, though, the one the one with Andrew
Just-
Tate's not as creepy. You just hear his music, or probably his theme song, or whatever it is.
there's an Andrew Tate one. It's just his bald head chasing you.
Apparently,
Pretty much.
like a picture of Andrew Tate, and all you hear is this like that French song that's playing.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, I'm going through a list right now of horror games. Oh, have you guys played Alien Isolation? I haven't yet, but I have it.
I heard that was
Oh.
supposed to be really good.
I was playing it. I
Or at
didn't
least
finish
scared.
it, but it is really good.
Yeah,
It's sort of like
the alien's like extra smart. It's like, huh? I
Yeah.
wonder if you're under here. Clearly looks.
oh yeah. Sometimes it messes with you because you think it kind of left the room. At one point, I remember it coming behind a desk. I'm like, okay, I'm fine. It starts leaving, or I thought it was leaving, but it climbed up above the desk, came around the other side, and it was like, oh, there you are, and I died.
That's hilarious. Just get out of your hiding space. It's like leaning on the wall with his arms folded, smoking a cigarette.
Would you consider the Left 4 Dead series horror games or no?
No,
No.
I consider it a must play, but not a horror game.
What's strange is that it is categorized as a horror game.
Oh, probably because of the zombies, right?
The zombies, and the only thing that I thought was kind of creepy about it was the witch.
The witch
Oh,
did, yeah. I thought it was cool.
She is kind of
Yeah.
creepy, but to
The
me,
tank
that's
was
like
creepy.
that's like saying
The
The Last of
tank
Us
was
is a horror
creepy.
game,
Just
you
I
know?
didn't want to get crushed.
Yeah, I guess, but I don't know. I didn't like The Last of Us. Definitely didn't have so much of that horror aspect.
No,
No,
I
I
had good
disagree.
tension,
I
but-
disagree fully with The Last of Us. To be fair,
Oh, you think it
'cause,
is a
like,
horror
it
game?
com- oh no! Sorry, my bad. Because I thought PT was saying that it was classified as a horror game or something.
Oh no, I didn't really think so.
No.
Like it had some
I would
stealth stuff
disagree with
and
that.
yeah,
I thought it was just very like not cinematic.
yeah.
It's like you're
Yeah.
playing through a movie.
The Last of Us is slow Uncharted. That's all it is. It's the same
Yeah.
developer, so.
Yeah. In no time, in no point was I scared in that game. So no, thank you.
But to me, zombie games in general don't scare me at all. From Resident Evils to Last of Us to Zombie
It's too
U
cool of a
for the
concept.
Wii U.
You.
You know, it's like it was overdone. The creepiest version of zombies that I've seen was in Call of Duty. The Call of Duty zombie
Really?
modes.
Mm.
They did it really well because I think what sold it for me was like the creepy ass music that went along while you were hunting them. You know,
Okay.
to me it was the scariest version of zombies that I've ever experienced in a game.
Huh.
But yeah,
That's cool.
before we started this talk, I was looking up just a little bit of like to see if there was like a type of history on horror games, that kind of stuff, and I was interested to find out that what was considered like a horror game way back when at the early gaming is Space Invaders.
Space. Oh, I
What?
I
Space
was like,
Invaders.
what the shit? But like I'm going through a list right now just to take a look to see like what are like common horror games. One of them is called Late Night Mop. Another one is called Ghost Watchers. And they all have the indie title under them. You know, Teeny Bunny. No, it's an anime character. I'm not sure. Anyways. and yeah, there's one called Madison, which looks like a Fatal Frame, but like a Western Fatal Frame, if you will. Yeah, and but I think I can't name you any of them, but I know there's a lot of like anime horror games out there, which looks all like nice and cutesy and shit. But oh my god, does it turn dark real fast, man? Apparently.
Yeah.
Basically, Doki Doki Literature Club.
Yeah, exactly. I know that one, but I heard that there's like a franchise of those kind of games out there, man.
Jeez.
Really?
Yeah, there's one where at some point the chick loves you so much, but you got some other chick pregnant or something at some point in the story of the game, that
Okay.
she takes your head off,
Huh.
and she cuts open the woman who's supposedly pregnant to realize that she was lying. She wasn't pregnant. She was checking for a baby basically, and she sticks your head in there. And she's like, "Now you can be together," and it's like, "Aw."
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
It's when it comes to horror games, like the Japanese definitely have something in them and within them to fuck with your mind.
Um,
But yeah, other than that, I think that's it, man. That's all I got for horror games, honestly. Unless anybody wants to add something.
Honestly,
not really. I
I
can't.
was very into the action horrors.
Yeah.
Is there? Do you guys have phasmophobia or no?
No, I do not.
No.
Okay,
I did hear about it, but no, I don't have.
I would like to because I have phasmophobia. I have the Friday the 13th game. I can get Dead by Daylight. I think we should link up and try to scare the crap out of each other at one point.
I'd be down with that.
I'm
Excellent.
so startled right now.
I don't know, man. And if we do phasmophobia, it's gonna be fucking hilarious. We're turning off Discord. We're turning on VoIP. Oh, it's gonna be hilarious to just hear Danny screaming in the distance, like
High pitched echoed scream.
somebody help! He backed me over. All right. All right, boys. I want to thank you kindly for having the conversation today.
No
For
worries.
next topic, any suggestions? I think this was Josh's last suggestion, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, PT, what do you think?
Dude. Yeah, I can't really think of anything. I know
Suck.
we were. What?
You suck.
Hey. I was
I
gonna
wonder if
say
this is
we had.
our games that dance.
Well, that's. I mean, there's not really much of a list there. It's. I can't really think of anything that I'm back horrible at. So it's. We can't really do a shoot for something like that. So I guess we'll have to figure out something else.
Hour-long conversation. I hate you guys so much.
You literally just see me pouting in the corner the entire time.
There's no games I suck at. 1 hour later.
So yeah, no, well, we'll think about it for next time. I mean, there's always the age old first person shooter. That's always a popular topic that we haven't done yet.
Yeah, that's what I was actually gonna say. It was either that and we could always do sports games.
Oh, I'd love to do sports games just to take a nice fat shit on it, man. Holy crap!
Just a giant rant.
Yeah, it's gonna be a nice 40-minute rant, man, just explaining why our the gaming industry sucks now. But anyways, all right, boys, I appreciate the time. I'll catch you guys next time.
Take it
Sure.
easy.